being honest, this video wasn't really planned at all, but just something I've seen on Twitter. The fighting game community kind of has a problem, I'm not gonna lie to you. So, as you may or may not know, back in like 2017, there was this game called Dragon Ball FighterZ that came out. Really good game, I recommend it to everybody. However, it was one of those things where it was like the Oppenheimer bomb, you know, one thing that was meant for a singular purpose accidentally spiraled into something that was such a much larger issue. And I feel like that's what's going on with fighting games right now, because I don't know if many of you watching know this, but as of recent, there was a fighting game announced for Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I looked at it like, you know, the animations look good and all that, so it's not like it's bad, you know, it's not like it looks like a bad game or anything of that nature, but it's the fact that this is like a 17th IP for like 17th IP generated video game, you know, like this is for fighting games in specific. This has happened way too often. Shit, it's even happened for fucking Final Fantasy, you know? So like this is getting out of hand. So like, matter of fact, let me go through the list so people don't think that I'm like going crazy by making this observation. All right, so going through the list, we have 2XKO. That is a fighting game that was made, I think, in the purpose for gathering people who like League of Legends, you know, gathering that fan base of people. There was a Power Rangers fighting game that came out within the last 5 years. I forgot the name of it, but the fact that they came out is something that should be noted. Marvel Tokon, that's a new announced fighting game, also looks great. It's made by Arc System Works. They didn't pay the same people who made Dragon Ball FighterZ and Guilty Gear, Blaze Blue, and all of that nature. So something that we already know. Obviously the Avatar Zone that I just mentioned. And Invincible Versus, which is another tag fighter that is been announced for people trying to get people into the Invincible fan base into fighting games. Here's the main issue with all of these games coming out. The main goal is to get people who are not into fighting games into fighting games. But the problem is that it's a very niche genre to begin with. You're trying to get people into a genre of games that they don't like to play. That's the problem. It's not that they never tried fighting games, they just don't fucking like it. Let's take example with like some of the big name fighting games. You know, we have Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and Tekken. But really Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. You bring up Tekken to an average nigga, they gonna look at you like you a fucking dweeb. A lot of people are gonna be like, yo, Mortal Kombat, tough. Street Fighter, it's too hard. But that's what a lot of people say. There's a skill gap with it. And the thing, these games, they attempt to make things too easy until niggas want to hop online, because you know everything's digital nowadays. Niggas want to hop online and you get fucking one-tapped by a fucking, I don't know what the equivalent to Virgil in this generation of tag fighters would even be. Like if you're playing that Invincible shit, you get one-tapped by fucking Omni-Man because that nigga learned the entire combo setup and know how to use a level 3 and with just touching you once, you know? Like, it's stuff like this where I'm just like, y'all not gonna get people into the fighting game. They're gonna play the game for like a week, no, a month max, and then it's gonna plummet so low that the service for DLC and things of that nature, y'all not even gonna bother even attempting to give any content with. And don't even get me started on the fact that a lot of fighting games don't even bother with story mode content anymore. If they do, it's very minimal. They're like, we'll give like 2 minutes of effort with it and just drop it, yo. They're not really giving too much effort with it. So it's just like, it's interesting to say the very least. We're not getting any new shit, you know? It's just existing IP after existing IP. And anything that new that we do get, it's some random indie game that everyone forgets about in the next 2 weeks. Something that I'm starting to notice a lot more is the fact that, yeah, the gaming sphere is getting more broad and broad, but people are getting more money hungry. They've seen how much money Dragon Ball FighterZ has generated, even to this day, because Dragon Ball FighterZ announced a whole new fucking, whatchamacallit, an entire new season, balance adjustments, new DLC. They announced all this shit. And so you can already make the argument that they're attempting to keep the game going. Now, while that is the case, while that's fair, it's understandable, there's either two ways they go from that. They either make a sequel, which will generate too much fucking bread, or they just keep this one game going, which, based off how they're going, it looks like they're going for the latter. So it's like, in general, it seems that Dragon Ball Fighters accidentally, because who knows, this might not have been intentional. Well, they definitely wouldn't have been intentional because they're the only successful one. Any other IP that uses existing characters besides the new Marvel Tokon shit that's coming out, they're not actually generating the same amount of love in actual money that Dragon Ball Fighters has acquired over the years. Because the thing with those fighters is it damn near saved the fighting game community. Like, during that time, Street Fighter V was a joke, Tekken 7 was a joke, and any other anime fighter that was bubbling up during that time just wasn't getting enough traction. So, and then don't even get me started on people on games like King of Fighters and Fatal Fury and things of that nature, because people just did not give a fuck. Niggas didn't give a fuck about Dead Alive, you know? Like, these were not games that niggas was like, yo, we gonna tune into this from a fighting game community standpoint. Niggas was tired of this shit. They wanted something new. And then Dragon Ball Fighters swooped in and just saved. I'm not gonna say it swooped in and saved everyone. That's low-key glaze. But the point is the fact that Dragon Ball Fighters is low-key the reason why the fighting game competitive scene boosted in popularity. Because at the time, it was kind of plummeting. I'm not gonna lie. Because like I said before, niggas was not satisfied with what was going on with Street Fighter V. Niggas was not satisfied with what was going on with Tekken 7. They picked it up eventually, but at the time, niggas was not fucking with that. And that's when Dragon Ball Fighters came in and, like, actually, you know, gave people a reason to be happy and, or I guess, excited for fighting games again. So, I say all that to say is that fighting games is in a really weird spot because we're lacking original ideas, because people are not willing to make the jump to just invest in a new IP. They don't want to do that. They want to do something old or something that's already existing, and they want to get bread off of that. And because, let's be honest, fighting games are just a niche thing that not a lot of people like. The chances of fighting game becoming mainstream in the same way that FPS shooters or hero shooters like Call of Duty or Battlefield or Marvel Rivals or Overwatch or something like that, the chances of it becoming mainstream like that is just so slim because of the barrier to entry, you know? Like, fighting games aren't necessarily beginner friendly, you know? Dragon Ball Fighters was the closest thing we've gotten to a beginner friendly fighting game, but that's because auto combos were there. So if you take out auto combos and you take out modern controls that Street Fighter 6 did, and you take that, like, when you take all this shit out, because mind you, the auto combos won't get you good at the game. They just won't. So if you take all that shit out, there's not really good barrier. There's a really big barrier to, like, actual entry for fun play at the game, because most fighting game players, when they tell you that, or when they tell you that you play fighting games, 9 times out of 10, you probably picture in your mind, oh, you probably looked up a guide to this character, looked up combo routes and things of that nature. Either that, or they're spending hours in the lab, like I had to do with Tekken 7, because I just didn't want to go on YouTube because I didn't feel like it. Then I looked on YouTube and realized I was doing unoptimal combos that was making me lose games. You know, niggas like to exaggerate. Either way, my point is this. It's a very low barrier it's a very high barrier to entry. So it's like, when people are attempting to get these existing IPs into the fighting game sphere, unless you have as much motion as Dragon Ball or Marvel, that's just not happening. It's not going to generate the same type of love. Avatar: The Last Airbender fans, I met a lot of them. Them niggas don't even play video games. Off chance that they're going to get a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox or even on their PC just to play an Avatar game, which looks good. It looks good. I'm not going to sit here and say it looks bad. It looks great. But the off chance of them actually doing that is just very slim. So I'm just like, I don't know, man. I don't think that's happening at all. But who knows? Who actually knows? The chances of them actually developing a game that might, you know, ruffle the industry a little bit. I could be wrong. I could be eating my words right now. So, I don't know. That's just what my thoughts on the matter is. If you like this video, though, be sure to like the video, because, you know, I haven't posted in a long time. I need you to boost me back into the algorithm, please. College has been beating my ass right now. How do I say? I'm doing decent in my anatomy class, but I'm getting cooked in my fucking probability. Pray for me, please. But now, other than that, though, be sure to follow the Instagram for more updates on just me as a creator, but also, you know, just to support the clips that I post from the stream. Speaking of which, be sure to follow the YouTube live channel that I made. Yes, I made a live channel. And to be sure to actually follow the Twitch. Both of those will be linked in the description as well. But also, finally, just tell me your thoughts on general fighting game state that we're in. Tekken 8 is something. Street Fighter 6 is okay, it's decent. And Dragon Ball FighterZ is having a resurgence. I know me personally, I'm probably gonna be on that an unhealthily amount. But I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think. What are y'all headspaces on? And if you are an avid fighting game person, what do you think would actually help the community a little bit, as opposed to, you know, existing IPs? Like, if y'all were to make a new fighting game, what would be some new shit that y'all would add personally? I don't know. That might be a video I might make soon, actually. So stay tuned for that. But don't stay too tuned, because college is still whooping my ass. Videos are gonna be very spread apart right now. So by the time this comes out, it might be a week later after I fucking edit and upload this shit. So I don't know. I digress. But y'all have a good one though.